Awesome. Thank you, Shane. And thank you everyone for joining me for Boost Your Bottom Line with Focus. I'll walk through some of our tools today and speak to them and how we can kind of help you, increase your revenue, improve your inventory management, and then improve visibility into your finances like expenses, margins, etc. So first off, I'm Alexa West, and I am an Infor sales executive here with Phocas. So working specifically with our Infor customers, our Infor partners. Been with the company about 3 years now, and in that time I've worked with dozens of distributors, helping you guys through the evaluations of Phocas, and ultimately hopefully getting you the most out of your sales, operations, and financial data. Also closely partnered with the team at Central Data here. And Phocas really is a good kind of third party to help you guys, make the most out of your BI and reporting experience. Phocas is, truly a tool purpose-built for distributors and created with the end user in mind. So making it really easy for you guys to get insights from your data. Just a quick agenda. I'm going to touch on, who we are, what we do, and then why Infor customers are choosing Phocas. I'm then going to go into detail around, how each of our different tools can help you boost that bottom line, what those tools bring our customers, and then ultimately hop into a demo, which I'll be scratching the surface today. But if anyone wants to dive a little bit deeper into, what the Phocas tools can do for you, we can always set up a follow-up time. And then I have a couple slides at the end there for customer success, and then we'll have some time for questions as well. Awesome. So just a little bit of background on Phocas. We're a global organization. We started about 24 years ago in Australia, then in the UK, and then in the US. In those 24 years, we've expanded from offering just our analytics tool to a full suite of a la carte solutions to solve a variety of business challenges. And today, as it stands, we have about 160 Infor customers using and loving the tools today. And I think the reason for that is we're purpose-built for distributors. You guys have thousands of SKUs, hundreds of customers, and getting quick and easy access to the data and turning that into insights is really important for you to do your jobs. And then, businesses generate a lot of data. So we tend to find that a lot of our customers have data scattered throughout multiple systems, maybe that don't really talk to each other. So it might be hard to manage, different logins and different systems. Maybe you have sales and operations over here, finance over here, and maybe you're distributing or receiving hundreds of static reports from these different systems. And we often see, different departments not necessarily trusting in the numbers that they're getting because maybe they're not lining up across these different tools. And then Phocas. So we're connecting directly into your ERP and building you an easy to navigate set of databases containing all the information that you need to build and customize and tailor your reports. So we have out-of-the-box integrations and solutions for Infor CSD, SX.e, Fax A+, you name it. Really, we're giving you a good starting point to jump off from, but we're also flexible enough to make it really easy to bring in some of those customized fields that are important to your business. And then in the middle here, we have our core 4 tools. So analytics, financial statements, budgeting and forecasting, and rebates. And Phocas can help you consolidate a lot of these different business needs into one tool and one login. And I'll speak to all these tools today and how they might be helping in boosting your bottom line. But lastly, how everyone benefits. Phocas was truly designed for the end user, meaning you don't have to write code or be technical to go log in, run reports, run queries, and get the information that you need. So anyone from sales to operations to IT to finance to your leadership, anyone can go in and get value from these tools. Oops. And then once again, I might just skip this slide here because we can go into detail on, what each of these tools are really doing. So Our core tool is Phocas Analytics, and what this does is it harnesses all your business's sales and operations data to make it easy to drill from, high level on a dashboard down into the underlying detail with a couple of clicks. We're pulling in all that granular ERP data and building you databases like sales, inventory, purchasing, AR, AP, maybe you have CRM analysis that you want to bring in. And we're giving your end users an environment where they can point and click and follow their train of thought to get insights that you need, and then also insights that you might not have been looking for. So, analytics being the core of this tool, our customers are finding a lot of opportunities, specifically within your sales data, to grow your customers and increase that revenue. On the inventory management side, being able to easily track trends, avoid overstocking, freeing up cash flow. These are all things we'll touch on in the demo portion, and all things that can help with boosting your bottom line. And then next we have our Phocas Financial Statements tool. So similar to the other tool, we're building you a database out of that GL level detail and making it really easy to customize and automate some of those reports that you're expecting, every month. And this tool is really going to help your finance team spend less time doing manual data manipulation or consolidation and really enable them to better analyze your business performance. So giving you kind of near real-time overview of revenue, expenses, your cash flow, your profit, and being able to closely monitor it and not just kind of at the end of the month. This tool can also do pretty slick reports where we can combine operational and financial data to do things like KPI reporting, return on assets, inventory turnover, cash conversion cycle, just to name a few. And we'll touch on a little bit more of that today. And the next, Phocas budgeting and forecasting. So this is a really great addition to your Phocas package because it helps you build a budget off of the data that we're already capturing those actuals within Phocas. And now we can use that to build the baseline of a budget. Customers that I've been working with, their budgeting season might be 3 weeks, it might be 3 months, depending on the complexity. And a tool like Phocas can help bring it down to 3 to 5 days, maybe a week. So our customers, they're putting together both sales and financial budgets with this tool, using those databases as the baseline of the budget. We can even do things like demand planning. For sales, making it easier to collaborate and input your budget numbers, publish it. We're building it off of one version, and then bringing your budgets onto a dashboard to compare your performance all year long. And then even being able to reforecast or model scenarios like, what if we added 3 new reps in the middle of the year? How is that going to impact our sales? And then a lot of our customers are using that tool to go ahead and build out their financial budget. So not just building it once, we can see it against our actuals all year long. We can reforecast and do different scenarios and see how that would affect our budget as well. We can even do things like a complex 3-part budget where all those budgets feed into each other, and we can closely track things like cash flow and things like that. So, and then lastly, we have our Phocas rebates. And this, for some distributors, properly managing your rebates can make or break your bottom line, depending on how much of that is your rebatable revenue. So what we found with our Infor customers is that Infor has a lot of great rebate capabilities baked into the ERP, but where we can really make that impact is when it comes to calculating and managing things like, volume, growth tiered rebates. And since Phocas is capturing and refreshing all your sales data, the rebates tool really just allows you to input all those rebate rules from vendors, or maybe on the flip side, put in those rebate programs for your customers, and allows you to manage your performance really easily on dashboards. So what that means for value, like for vendor rebates, automatically tracking and closely monitoring those rebates to help you with making those good purchasing decisions. How can we max out the payments for these different programs that we have? And then for customer rebates, seeing the performance and of those customer rebate programs and what's being most profitable for us. All right, so for the demo portion today, Let me just pause my share screen real quick and get that pulled up for you. I will only have time to touch on a little bit of sales, finance, maybe a little bit of budgeting. We'll see it where we're tracking. But if you have any additional questions, be happy to set up some additional time to walk through some of the other tools. All right, so really quickly, I know we have some customers in the audience today, and maybe some folks that it's your first time seeing Phocas. So I did want to kind of touch on what comes out of the box and what you can expect to have as you grow with this tool. We do deliver an out-of-the-box solution for all those Infor ERPs where you have a set amount of dashboards, databases, and favorites. We can also set up some alerts, but you can expect to see for your analytics database, AR, AP, and inventory, purchases, sales, transfers, and TWL. For that financial statements module, we build you that financial statements database. And then we can also do things like put in the budgeting tool, the rebates tool, and even a light CRM, as well as giving you a couple different dashboards out of the box. But we do encourage you to, continuously, design these dashboards to be most effective for the audiences that are accessing them and making them tailored to your business. I'll start today on a sales dashboard. So this is one that I created with about 40 minutes. And really what it's going to do is allow you to get a 30,000 foot view of your business. I can see at a high level how I'm performing, but I can also drill down into some underlying detail, even from a dashboarding perspective. So, at the top, I have some key sales metrics that I want to see, like year-to-date sales and margin, month-to-date margin and sales. And this is actually a really great example of how Phocas can help you do and find some of those trends within your data. So we know a lot of our customers are pulling like a lost customer report. I want to find all those customers before they become a lost customer and locate those that are declining over the last couple months. Here we have, a list of 50 accounts that are declining that my reps can go after and try and make up that sale, because we all know it's hard to win back a lost customer, but how can we improve this customer's purchasing patterns from us today? And then also things like cross-selling opportunities. So a lot of our customers have products or product categories that, product A and product B should be sold together. I think in demo environment, it's ballast and fluorescence. And I want to find customers that are purchasing one product category and not the other, because it's easier to grow sales with our current customers than it is to gain new ones. And I want to find those really easy, low-hanging fruit opportunities for my team. We can also do things like put dead stock items on a sales dashboard. Maybe I want, to run a spiff where we're pushing these items at a discount to get some of our cash back and get these products out of our warehouse to make room for something that turns a little bit faster. So these are all just kind of examples of how you can use this tool to find some of those opportunities within your data. But we can also go ahead and really easily filter on these dashboards. Like, let's say I'm Judy Kelly. She's our top rep within this environment. So I want to go and focus on all of my reports. So now I can see my year-to-date sales and margin, how I'm doing to the month. And then I have a couple different opportunities that I can go after. We can get even more granular and say, I want to see, who's my top customer? The top customer is Tallahassee. Let's focus on them. So we can actually drill down and get even more granular detail just from this dashboarding level by clicking a few buttons and filtering out some different information. I really like this one too, which is, this line here is holding our average customer. And so our average value per invoice, average margin, and then average purchases by product class. And it's allowing us to compare our selected customer. Right now I'm selected on Tallahassee to that average to see some areas that we can improve that customer. So, not a great example. This is a fantastic customer, but maybe they're doing, great for average value per invoice, They're purchasing 6 out of 6 product classes, but what if they had a low margin? That might be something that we would, want to dive and drill into a little bit further. A couple of different examples too of, other reports that you can build within this tool. I'm going to hit reset too. We can actually even bring different databases all into one dashboard. So far we saw sales, we saw a little bit of dead stock on this dashboard, but we can also bring in things like AR. If I know my rep is going to have a conversation with that customer, I can give them this report so they can, loop that into the conversation. Hey, BBT Steel, you have an invoice that's over 90 days overdue. When can we expect that? So lots of different ways that we can add value with our customer interactions with a dashboard. But what's great is, but beyond this dashboarding level, all of this is built off of that invoice level detail within the Phocas tool. And at any point, I can click this analyze arrow and get to the report that's visualized here, but into our database, so I can ask some more questions. So I'm gonna hit analyze. And now we're in our Phocas sales database. So just to kind of show you where we started here on a dashboard. Now we're in our analytics sales database. And quickly to land, we have dimensions here on the side. These are the categories that we're picking up off of that invoice level detail. And then we have our different filters here at the top. So, I'm looking at my customer ship to. We have about 1,700 customers for the year to date. Here's that total local value as our measure, and broken out by January 2024 and onward. And if I wanted to see this $63 million broken out by sales rep, it's just re-summarizing the way that we're looking at this data. So imagine this, every click is a different report. Maybe I want to see by product class. There's that 63 million broken out by our product classes or by products. And then if I go back up to the top here, all of our different filters, year to date, maybe I want to see, my previous month broken out. If I wanted to go ahead and see a rolling 12 months, for example, really easy to filter the data that you're getting within Phocas. But maybe I want to do a comparison to how we're doing last year. I want to find any customers that are underperforming from what they were doing last year to see if I can kind of make up the difference there and really improve my numbers with those customers. So things like a variance report is really impactful for that. And the tool has a pre-built function to go ahead and see current, previous, what that variance is both dollar-wise and percentage-wise as well. Or if I wanted to go ahead and just hit total and see things like margin or profit, or we can bring in quantity as well. So all of our numerical data is going to be here in the measures that we can pull in and build out some different columns here within the Phocas tool. So I didn't really have a report in mind, but I clicked a couple buttons and I was able to build a report. So I want to find maybe customers that have a low margin, for example. And then I want to focus on these 19. And I want to see what products they're buying. So you can slice and dice and add different selections here, and it's going to build you out a breadcrumb trail of what you've selected. But you can always just hit reset. You're not investing any time, and we're only pulling one direction from your ERP. So your users are never going to affect that source data as well. I'm going to pivot away from sales really quickly and touch on this supplier and purchasing dashboard that we have. So same thing, lots of different reports that me being, inventory management or purchasing might want to see. Again, being able to add filters like I want to focus on this supplier, I want to focus on this warehouse, and being able to filter down the reports that I have on this dashboard. But really easy to see some of my really important KPIs. What is my stock value? What do I have in transit on back order? Looking at things like dead stock or stock ratio or high turnover products. And then also, this one's a really great one too, of I want to see how many months in stock that I have based off of my average quantity sold per month. So here's what I have on hand. here's what I sold in the last 12 months and my average sold per month. And then this is what I have in stock. So lots of ways that you can really improve the way that you're planning and purchasing as well. I'm gonna go ahead and reset there. And then I'll pivot over into the world of finance to kind of tie this all together. So this is our Phocas financial statements database. Again, living within the same tool, this database is built off of our GL level detail. So pretty similar to the sales database that I was just in. We have our different categories here on the side that we're picking up from that GL level detail, like account, trading entity, maybe country is your branch or your warehouse, department. All these different selections are custom to the solution we have for your ERP. And then we also have our different filters here at the top. So columns, for example, we're looking at our current, previous, and our budget, and a couple calculations from where our actuals are from our previous and budget. And we're looking at our profit and loss statement. So here's our profit and loss. We have our different columns that we're pulling in. Maybe I just want to see my current to my budget. Or maybe I want to see a visualization of how we're tracking to that budget. We can also go ahead and do that here, toggling over into graphing mode and really quickly and easily being able to build out our dashboard. But a couple of different reports that you get with this tool out of the box are our profit and loss, balance sheet, cash flow, and trial balance. And you can customize these reports, build them once, and then have those actuals refresh in the background for you, so you never have to, take a data dump, take it into Excel, manipulate it, and invest all that time. You invest it once in the upfront, and then every day your actuals are refreshing behind this report. A couple other things that we can do here. So let's say we're looking at our expenses, and I want to see my expenses broken out for my different, let's say country is branch, for my different branches. So if I wanted to focus on, branch 1 is USA, focus on it, go back up to my statement. With 3 clicks, I just created a branch P&L, and I can really easily see just my figures from that branch. I can also do things like making different comparisons. So one way I can do that is dragging my branches into levels. So then if I go down to some of those different expense lines, my office expenses, for example, they're now broken out and categorized for me by my different branches. Or I can hit reset here. And then I can also maybe see them, I want to see them side by side. So let me clean up my budget and my previous. I just want to see my totals. And I'm going to take my, my countries. I'm making this branches. I can select them and hit matrix, which is a pivot table like we would do in Excel. So these rows here became columns. And as I click, those columns are going to follow me up here. So if I go back up to my P&L screen, now I can see my total consolidated P&L. And if I slide across, I can see all my different branches as well. So making it really easy for me to drop down my office expenses and see how I'm performing across the board here. But what's great about Phocas and why our customers are really loving the tool is you're never having to guess where these numbers come from, both within the sales side and within this financial statements database. At any point, I can right-click on a number. So this is telephone and communication for UK. I can go down to that transaction level and see the actual journal postings underneath this account. So I can see exactly at any point where those numbers come from. And just to tie this together with a bow, same thing on, the sales side. If I had a question about October for ASAP metallizing, I could right click, hit transactions, and then see all those individual invoices as well. And then a couple different things with the tool, as far as being able to export, making that really easy. We can add it to a dashboard. We can save it as a favorite, which is kind of our version of a saved report. It's not a static report though, because at any point I can go ahead and click in and dig deeper into the details of that report, for example. But I also wanted to touch on, in the theme of today and boosting your bottom line as well, the fact that this tool not only can make it really easy to develop your core financial statements, but it can also do things like combine operational and financial data to give you some really good insights into how your business is performing. So my colleague actually put together this KPI report. And we're doing a couple different things here, like looking at profitability ratios, my return on assets and equity, liquidity ratios, efficiency, things like asset and inventory turnover, and then just kind of scrolling down, but headcount analysis, what's my revenue per employee? So if you see this FX button, this is where we're doing those calculations within Phocas, making it really easy to see where we're getting this calculated number from, but also, saving you the trouble if you were to do this in Excel by making a mistake on one of the formulas or fingering in an error. Keeping it all within Phocas to make sure that you have that data integrity and can see exactly where those numbers are coming from. Reset here. And then just to touch on lastly, I don't think I'll have enough time to really get into budgeting and forecasting or rebates, but I'll touch on budgeting really quickly. This tool, for example, is being able to populate a budget with perhaps my sales database. I'm building out a sales budget, or my financial statements database. Or we can also do things like a three-way budget. So having our main financial tab, having sales drive that sales number, and also our balance sheet and our cash flow as well. And if anyone has a question or would like to know more about this, we just did a really great webinar specifically on budgeting. So I'd be happy to follow up with that. But making it really easy to spread, I want to change this number, base it on my displayed data. I want to spread proportionally by row, and I want to see an increase of 5%, making it really easy to input your changes, but also really easy to assign out different lines. So I want to assign this specific, inventory line to a contributor. I'm going to pick on Aaron Dieter. Now it's locking out that line, and he's going to get a task to go ahead and input his budget. And then I can go ahead and see any changes that he's made as the budget administrator, and he can actually write, comments. I can see the cell history of how he got to that number, and we can communicate on one document, kind of, one, saving time, but also maintaining version control of our budget, and then being able to do things like set those user restrictions. Like Aaron, you can only see these specific lines. So hopefully that'll make sense there, but I'm gonna hop back into, and hopefully, let me pause this and pull back open my presentation, excuse me. Ooh. All right, if anyone can give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen again.
Yeah, you look good.
Okay, awesome. Well, this is just a quick brag slide. So, customers of Phocas, you can see a large increase in sales opportunities, an increase in efficiency and reporting speed. One thing that we're really strong at is, because we're giving the end users a tool that they can feel confident with, we're really decreasing that ad hoc queue that tends to end up with IT. Decrease in administrative costs, and 50% reduction in month-end close time. I think that's a very big one as well. And then this is our tagline. We want to make people feel good about data, and taking something that used to be very technical, very time-consuming, very manual, and making it easy. and giving you trust in those numbers, I think, is a very big one as well. But we love our customers. We want to make sure our customers are getting the most out of their experience with Phocas and their data. And we are constantly releasing new content, new features, and updates to make that happen. So, and then I do have a quick slide if you want to go ahead and book a follow-up demo. If you want to get in touch with us, inquire about some of the tools I didn't get to show today, you can go ahead and use this barcode and then we'll get in touch with you. But I also did want to see if we can open up maybe the chat, if you want to chat some questions or